Welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson. We've got the playoffs coming up. Got this last week. A lot of people fighting for these, a lot of teams fighting for these playoff positions, getting a home field advantage just to get in the playoffs as well, getting a wild card to try to see what they can do. One of the main things I see that's been coming up, and I knew this was going to be a major thing, is the Baltimore Ravens. Basically, if they win, they basically take the North. They take the AFC North at a 10-6 record. They have to beat Cleveland, which would be an interesting. It'd be an interesting matchup because Cleveland's been playing really good ball. Baker Mayfield been balling out. Their defense is doing very well. They got Chubbs out there running the ball over there at Cleveland and stuff like that. So it's not just a gimme. Cleveland is on their way up. They definitely please like playoff games for them and stuff like that, as well as trying to get their program together, get their franchise together so they can start doing something because they haven't done anything in quite some time. But one of the things that I was seeing that was pretty interesting is the fact that you have a lot of people sitting up there saying, wondering if this has anything to do with like, is Lamar Jackson the cause of the resurgence of the Baltimore Ravens after taking over in 6 games. He's pretty much played in all the games this year, but he's right now 5-1. He could easily be 6-0. And someone asked me, were you surprised about that? I'm not surprised about that one bit. I've already told y'all about how I felt about Lamar Jackson and what I felt he's going to bring to a team, whatever team he's going to draft him. And then, of course, Baltimore drafts him and whatnot. And you have, now they are at 9-6, 5-1. And that running game that they're doing and that defense that they're playing is off the chain. Right now, you have They are basically, I think, 14th in points, making 24.2, 369.1 yards, total yards, 226 yards passing. That's 21st in the league. Not very good or whatever. But they're second in rushing yards a game right now. So what you have, so their running game is what's definitely, and their defense is what's giving it to them right now at this particular point in time. And Lamar Jackson right now, since he's been there and whatnot, and he's rushed for 605 yards and he has 3 touchdowns. I'm like, he's running that ball, and people say, okay, well, he can run. But now that's not just that. This kid by the name of Gus Edwards, this guy out of nowhere, I think he's out of Rutgers, 642 yards in the 5 games that he started. He played a little bit here and there, but he's made his bones. 642 yards in a 5-game stretch. He is running that ball. He's averaging 5.1 yards a carry. They, as a team so far, has rushed for 2,145 yards, right, as a team, right, in 15 games. And that's nothing to sneeze at. And that defense with C.J. Mosley and the likes and Humphreys and a lot of them other guys over there playing ball over there, Weddle and all those guys, Suggs and whatnot. Those guys are going to be some scary stuff. But to put it quite frank, I'm not surprised the least bit with what Lamar Jackson. Once Lamar Jackson, I said this to somebody while we were speaking about this. Once Lamar Jackson realizes pocket presence, have pocket presence, and know how to read zones and know how to throw into a zone, it's going to be all over with. People are asking, is this a surprise? There's no surprise for people that sit up there and really know football, knowing the type of energy that this guy brings. Like, they haven't been to the play. They've missed the playoffs almost 3 years now, 2 or 3 years or so in a row. Flacco hasn't really done anything since he's gotten that big money since they won that Super Bowl a few years ago. Flacco's a solid quarterback and everything like that. But at this particular day and time, and I told you guys, I'm like, NFL is becoming more like that of college ball. So therefore, guys like Lamar Jackson coming in, guys like Baker Mayfield coming in, right? These type of guys coming in, right? Can and whatnot. Especially with somebody like Lamar Jackson. These guys can play. Now, what I find ironic, and some of you guys can chime in on this down below and whatnot in the comment section. What did I tell y'all? I've said for years how the game was changing, and the threat and the not liking people not liking dual threat quarterbacks. Look at what people like What was Josh Allen known in Wyoming, coming out of Wyoming? He is known for having a big arm. Now all of a sudden, he had a couple times when he rushed for 100 yards, and everybody was making this big fuss about it. I thought it was all about sitting up there being the pocket passer and throwing for all these yards. Right? The same thing I sit up there and saw with Miss Trubisky. The same thing. The same thing that they try to sit up there and accuse others that, well, that's not going to translate the NFL. It will translate the NFL, because once the play breaks down and there's nobody to throw to, because you're dealing with professionals and there's nobody to throw the ball to, you get those damn blocks off your feet and go run for a first down. You can't be sitting up there making 14, 15, 16, 17, 20 some odd $1 million in today's league, in today's NFL now, and sit up there and then I'm going to just fall down and take a sack because, well, I'm not that type of quarterback. No, you better go find a way to get it done. You better run, you better do something. You don't need lead foot quarterbacks nowadays. The game is so fast now. And like I said, RPO wasn't even in the vernacular a few years ago. All of a sudden, it's in there. I told y'all, I said, look at your outside linebackers and linebackers wearing 40s. Sooner or later, your defensive backs going to start wearing number 10 and 15 back there. You know what I'm saying? I'm letting you know all of this because this is what I see. You know what I'm saying? It's turning into that college football, the way that it's going, the RPO and that. But the things that they criticize dual threat quarterbacks for, some of those guys, like like I said, Josh Allen's or Miss Trubisky's, these guys is known to having these big arms and all this other kind of stuff. They running the ball. Man, he's athletic. He's this, he's that. No. You criticize Deshaun Watson. You criticize Lamar Jackson. They're even trying to sit up there now. I mean, even criticize Russell Wilson to an extent. Even though Russell Wilson is not this per se electrifying or has the speed some of them other guys have, he's a dual threat quarterback. The only difference with him is he's going to do him a slide. He's not going to really fake and make somebody miss and have that Michael Vick or that Lamar Jackson type of feel to him and whatnot, or Randall Cunningham type thing. No, his thing is like, if it's open, I'm going to run and I'm going to get down and get back up. I'm going to slide and do all that. So now they're talking stuff about Kyler Murray. And, well, he's small, he's this, he's that. If the game is literally turning, if the college game is going into the pro game, what you think gonna happen? You know what I'm saying? What do you honestly think is gonna really happen with that? You know exactly what's gonna happen. So he has a shot as anybody else has a shot. Because the whole scheme of the game has changed, because the NFL wants more points, more viewers, more watching the game to be more than what it is. That's why that's why those guys can come into the league. That's why it's not a long shot for it, because the game has changed. They've made it change to the point you can't intimidate the quarterback. You can't touch the quarterback. So why can't a quarterback 5'9", 5'10" come in there and try to play? Why is it Kyler Murray can't see this, that, the other? Say Drew Brees was too short. Well, we see all that played out. Now what? Well, dual threat, running quarterback, can't win Super Bowl, can't run a Super Bowl. Well, Russell Wilson did that. Cam Newton got to a Super Bowl. I mean, what we gonna keep? We gonna keep talking that same mess? You got to give it up. So I'm not surprised the least bit about what Lamar Jackson has done. He's brought a certain type of vibe to that club, an electricity that they need. Once he, like I said, learn to throw in the zones, learn pocket presence, learn not to turn the ball over. Right? You saw that drop in the bucket he did there against San Diego. The kid can throw that ball. I don't care what I don't care what people like clowns like Bill Polian say. The young man can play, and once he gets it, it's gonna be AFC. It's gonna be a problem. It will be a major problem over in AFC North. And the way that it's going down, Big Ben ain't got much left. And Lamar Jackson's on his way up, so I don't know what Steelers going through their little transition. Who knows? You see my man gone out of there. Bell's gone. Connor messed around and got hurt. Big Ben ain't got much longer left. I don't know who their backup quarterback is. Might be the kid from out of Tennessee or the kid from Oklahoma, one of them guys or whatever. So we're going to see. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I can sit up there and see Lamar Jackson winning that North quite a few times over there in the next few years, starting with possibly tomorrow. So like I say, so I'm not the least bit surprised about what Lamar Jackson has done. Lamar Jackson could have easily been 6-0, except for, the fumble or lucky stuff with Kansas City and Mahomes, the ball bouncing back in his hand and all this other kind of stuff. So like I say, it could have easily, if he didn't, so he could easily, just as easy been 6-0 instead of 5-1 going into a game when they basically win the division. So I'm like, so it's going to be something to see. So I'm not the least bit surprised about what Lamar Jackson has accomplished, because this translates in today's NFL. Would it translate 15 years ago? Probably not. Not even 10 years ago. Barely 10 years ago. Of it being normal. You had Vince Young come in but didn't take it. Had Michael Vick, this, that, and that. But I'm like, truly dual threat quarterbacks that's really making it happen, and that's winning, and that's doing these different things, and that's taking it to the next level for when them other guys couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? So that's truly dual threat. So that's what I'm saying. So it's not going to surprise me. I said this year's because I thought, Vince was going to do his thing, but I'm not the least bit surprised. Yeah, I honestly see real soon when these quarterbacks, be it John Watson, Lamar Jackson, any of these guys, mess around, throw for almost 3,000 yards and rush for 1,000, or get close to it. And come up with about 50 touchdowns. Cam, come on, man. I'm like, so that's the new, that's it right there. So I'm not the least bit surprised about anything that Lamar Jackson is doing and what they're doing. And I see them actually winning tomorrow and winning that division. And they're going to be a scary team to be dealing with in the playoffs. And I don't know too many teams going to really want to see them guys. All right, we talk with you guys later.